The morning sunlight filters through my half-drawn blinds, casting a warm glow across the small homemade cake I baked last night. I smooth my hands over the simple blue dress I've chosen for today, me birthday. 22 years old. Not exactly a milestone, but still worth celebrating. At least, that's what I tell myself. My phone sits silent on the counter beside a framed family photo taken 3 summers ago at Lake Winnebago before I moved out, when I still believed things might change. Mom's arm is draped around Jacob's shoulders. Dad's hand rests on his back. I'm standing slightly apart, smiling too widely, as if I could close the gap through sheer determination. The calendar on my wall has today's date circled in red, a hopeful mark I made weeks ago. I check my phone for the 100th time this morning. No messages. No missed calls. Not even from Mom, who used to wake me with birthday pancakes when I was little. It's fine, it's still early. We're meeting for dinner at Rosario's mom's favorite Italian place. She wouldn't forget that. I pick up my phone, hesitate, then tap out a message to our family group chat. Hey, what time are we meeting for dinner tonight? I press send, then hold my breath. 3 dots appear, then disappear. Nothing. Minutes tick by. I water my kitchen herbs. Check my email. Straighten already straight picture frames. Still nothing. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they're busy. Maybe. I type again, fingers slightly less steady. Mom, Dad, just checking about tonight. The silence stretches into afternoon. My stomach tightens into a familiar knot. I felt this before at my high school graduation, when they spent the ceremony whispering about Jacob's middle school science fair win, at my college awards banquet when they left early for his baseball game. But not today. Not my birthday. I press call before I can talk myself out of it. My heart pounds as the phone rings once, twice, 3 times. Oh, hey Sarah, what's up? Mom's voice sounds casual, distracted. Something cold settles in my chest. Hi, Mom. I was just checking about dinner tonight. Dinner? There's a pause. Too long, too telling. Oh, honey, I should have told you earlier. I grip the counter's edge, already knowing what comes next. We're taking Jacob out tonight to celebrate. The breath leaves my lungs in a silent rush. But it's my birthday. Is that today? Her voice rises in fake surprise. I know it's fake because I heard her genuine surprise last week, when Dad brought home flowers, the sharp intake of breath, the unguarded delight. This is different. This is theater. From somewhere in the background, I hear Jacob laugh. Tell her we'll bring leftovers. My vision blurs. Not from tears I won't cry. Not this time, but from a sudden, clarifying anger. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was choice. Right, I say. My voice eerily calm. Jacob's scholarship dinner. Oh, you remembered. Mom sounds relieved, as if I've handed her the perfect excuse. We meant to include you, sweetie, but reservations were limited and… It's fine. The words escape through clenched teeth. Have a good night. I'm 16 again, watching Mom brush Jacob's hair before his class picture while I drive myself to school. I'm 18, at graduation, as they rush past my honor cords to congratulate my brother on making junior varsity. I'm 21, helping them move Jacob into his dorm at Dad's alma mater while they reminisce about legacy traditions. 6 months ago, I moved out, still foolishly hoping distance might make their hearts grow fonder. Still making the effort to call weekly, to show up for Sunday dinners, to maintain the fiction that we're a normal, loving family. What a waste of hope. I stare at my reflection in the microwave, door cheeks flushed, eyes too bright. Slowly, deliberately, I reach behind my neck and unclasp the silver necklace Mom gave me last Christmas. It wasn't chosen for me, it was the same one she gave my cousin Bethany and my Aunt Lisa. Practical. Efficient. 1 gift, 3 women checked off her list. I place it on the counter and turn away. My phone buzzes with a text, but it's not from my parents, it's from Daniel. Happy birthday, can't wait to see you tonight. Daniel, whose eyes light up when I enter a room, whose parents asked for my favorite cake flavor last week in what I now realize wasn't casual conversation. I delete the pleading text I'd started drafting to my parents. My hands tremble slightly as I call Daniel instead. When he answers, I'm surprised by the strength in my voice. Hey, do you have plans tonight? They're celebrating Jacob tonight instead. The words catch in my throat as I grip the phone tight against my ear. Through the window, I watch a cardinal land on my small balcony railing, vibrant red against the fading afternoon light. What? Daniel's voice sharpens. I can picture his brow furrowing, the way it does when something doesn't make sense. It's your birthday today. Apparently that didn't make the priority list. I fight to keep my voice steady, but it wavers like a candle flame in a draft. Mom thought Jacob's scholarship dinner was more important. Daniel's silence on the other end speaks volumes, followed by a controlled exhale. I'm coming to get you. Right now. No, I'm fine. Sarah. The firmness in his voice stops my automatic deflection. You shouldn't be alone on your birthday. I'm already grabbing my keys. My first instinct is to protest further. I don't want pity. I've spent years carefully crafting the appearance that everything is fine, that my family's neglect doesn't cut bone deep. But something inside me, something that's been building for 22 years, finally cracks. Okay, I whisper. By the time Daniel's gentle knock sounds at my door, I've pulled out a box of old family photos from under my bed. I'm sitting cross-legged on the floor, staring at a Christmas picture from 3 years ago. I'm half cropped out of the frame, while Jacob stands center, arms wrapped around Mom's shoulders. Daniel takes one look at me and drops to his knees beside me, wrapping his arms around me without a word. I thought maybe I was overreacting, I say after a moment, reaching for my phone. So I check the family calendar. I open the shared digital calendar that Mom insisted we all use to stay connected. I scroll to today's date, then back several weeks. There it is. Jacob's celebration dinner, 7 p.m. Rosario's entered 23 days ago. They didn't forget, I say, my voice hollow as understanding crystallizes. They chose. Daniel takes the phone gently, scrolling through past events. His jaw tightens as he notices what I'd shown him before Jacob's basketball games marked as everyone attend, while my college honors ceremony had merely been labeled Sarah's school thing. Look at these texts, I continue, feeling a strange calm as I finally allow myself to see the pattern I've denied for so long. I show him message after message my graduation announcement met with, we'll try to make it. Jacob's junior varsity success met with, we're so proud. Family celebration dinner. This isn't right, Sarah, Daniel says, his voice quiet but filled with unmistakable anger. This isn't what family does. I look up at him, at the genuine outrage in his eyes on my behalf, and something shifts inside me like tectonic plates, finally releasing years of built-up pressure. My parents have been asking about you, he continues softly. They noticed you weren't at Sunday dinner last week. I hesitate. Daniel's family has always been kind to me, but accepting their help feels like admitting my own family doesn't want me, like confirming out loud what I've known in my heart for years. I don't need a charity birthday, I say, even as I recognize the defensive edge in my voice. Daniel cups my cheek in his palm. It's not charity. They care about you. They've been asking when they could meet you for dinner anyway. The contrast is stark. Daniel's parents noticing my absence from one meal, while my own parents planned a celebration without me on my birthday. Slowly, I reach behind my neck and unclasp my mother's necklace again, setting it deliberately on the coffee table. Let me get changed, I say. 20 minutes later, we pull into Daniel's parents' driveway. I've replaced my birthday dress with jeans and a soft blue sweater, not special occasion attire, but comfortable. Armor of a different kind. Before we reach the door, it swings open, revealing Daniel's mother, Martha, her face lighting up when she sees me. Happy birthday, sweetheart. We've been planning something special. She envelops me in a hug that smells of vanilla and fresh flowers. It's immediate, genuine, and without hesitation, nothing like the stiff, obligatory hugs my mother offers at major holidays. Behind her, Daniel's father, Robert, appears holding a small, beautifully wrapped package. 22, right? We wanted to get you something meaningful. The gift is a beautiful leather-bound journal, my initials embossed in the corner. Not identical to every other gift they've given, but chosen specifically for me. Thank you, I manage, my throat tight. This is perfect. My phone remains stubbornly silent in my pocket as Daniel's parents usher us toward their car. They've made dinner reservations at Bellini's, an upscale Italian restaurant I've mentioned wanting to try. The restaurant is warm and inviting white tablecloths and soft lighting, fancy without being intimidating. Robert orders champagne as soon as we're seated, insisting on a proper toast. To Sarah, he says, raising his glass. Not just to your birthday, but to your future. We're excited to see where your talents take you. Martha adds, and to finally getting to know the young woman Daniel talks about so glowingly. They ask about my new job, my apartment, my dreams for the future, genuine questions followed by attentive listening. No one interrupts to mention Jacob's accomplishments. No one checks their watch or glances at their phone. As the waiter brings dessert, a slice of tiramisu with a single candle, I feel words forming that I've never allowed myself to speak aloud. I think I've been looking for family in the wrong place. Daniel's mom insists on one more photo. Just the two of you by the fireplace. She waves us into position, then steps back to frame the shot. Perfect. I smooth my blue dress, the same one I'd worn this morning, when I still believed my family might remember me, and lean into Daniel's side. His arm settles around my waist, solid and present. Smile, his father calls. The camera flash catches us mid-laugh, another memory preserved. Back at Daniel's house, we settle on the couch while his parents bustle in the kitchen, making coffee and plating the small cake they'd surprised me with at the restaurant. The evening wraps around me like a warm blanket, the gentle clicking of dishes, the soft murmur of conversation, the absence of that familiar knot in my stomach. We should take a picture to remember tonight, Daniel says, pulling out his phone. I freeze. Oh, I can take it. Not this time. He shifts closer, holding his phone at arm's length. You're going to be in these photos, birthday girl. The realization stings. I've spent years documenting everyone else's celebrations. Mom directing me to get a good one of Jacob blowing out candles. Dad handing me his phone to capture family moments I was never truly part of. Daniel's parents return with coffee and cake, but before we dig in, his mother takes more photos, Daniel and me, just me, all four of us with the timer. When she shows me the results, something catches in my throat. I'm smiling. Not the stretched, camera-ready smile I've perfected for family gatherings, but something real. My eyes are bright. I look happy. Send those to me, I ask, my voice smaller than I intend. Later, when Daniel's parents have retired for the night and we're alone in the living room, I scroll through the evening's photos. The contrast is stark. In Daniel's family photos, I'm centered, visible, celebrated. In my own family albums, I'm a ghost either behind the camera or standing slightly apart, smiling too widely, always reaching. 22 years of trying to be seen. 22 years of making excuses. They're just busy. Jacob needs more attention right now. They show love differently. Family is complicated. My fingers hover over Instagram. I rarely post personal content. What would be the point? My family rarely engages, and I've spent years curating a light, uncontroversial feed that wouldn't embarrass them. But tonight, something shifts inside me, like a gear finally clicking into place after years of grinding. You okay? Daniel asks, returning from the kitchen with water glasses. Just thinking. I tap my screen, creating a new story. I select one of the photos from dinner, Daniel's arm around my shoulders, his parents flanking us, my genuine smile. I've never looked more myself. The caption takes 4 attempts. I delete each draft, second-guessing every word. Too bitter, too desperate, too revealing. Finally, I type, huge thank you to Daniel and his amazing family for making my birthday special. So grateful to have people who actually care about me. My thumb hovers over the share button. Years of family training kick in: don't make waves, don't embarrass us, keep family business private. Is this too much? I show Daniel the screen, that familiar doubt creeping in. He reads it twice, then meets my eyes. It's just the truth, Sarah. Just the truth. Not an attack, not a tantrum, just the simple, unvarnished truth. I hit share before I can talk myself out of it. The post appears in my stories, its 24-hour countdown beginning. My stomach tightens momentarily, then relaxes. There's something freeing about finally saying out loud what I've known for years. My phone pings almost immediately. A heart from my college roommate, then another notification, and another. Happy birthday, Sarah. You deserve to be celebrated. You look beautiful. Hope it was special. I remember when you turned 10 and brought cupcakes for everyone. You've always been thoughtful. I blink at this last one, Mrs. Henderson, my 5th grade teacher. I haven't spoken to her in years, yet she remembers a detail about me that my own parents would likely forget. More messages arrive, former classmates, neighbors, a cousin on my mother's side, who I see at holidays but rarely speak to. Glad you had people to celebrate you properly. You deserve the best, always. Beautiful picture, happy birthday. The validation washes over me in waves. I'm not crazy. I'm not selfish. Other people see what I've been denying for so long. Look at all these messages, I murmur, showing Daniel my phone. He squeezes my hand. People care about you, Sarah. A lot of people. For an hour, the notifications continue likes, messages, birthday wishes. I respond to each one, feeling lighter with every exchange. Daniel and I move to the kitchen for more cake, talking about nothing and everything. For the first time all day, I don't check for messages from my family. Then my phone buzzes with a different tone. A text message. What is this post, Sarah? Mom. Before I can process this, another message arrives. Dad this time. Are you serious right now? Then Jacob. Way to be dramatic. My phone begins ringing. Mom's face fills the screen. I stare at it, remembering all the times I've answered immediately, afraid of disappointing her further. The second call comes 15 seconds after the first ends. Then a third. Daniel watches me carefully. You don't have to answer. I know, and for the first time I truly do know that. I silence the ringer and set the phone face down on the counter. 5 minutes later, I pick it up again. 7 missed calls, 12 text messages, a family group chat in meltdown. I take a deep breath and hit call back. When Mom answers on the first ring, her voice is tight with controlled fury. Finally, what do you think you're doing with that post? People are calling me. Without warning her, I tap the speaker button and place the phone on the counter between Daniel and me. His presence steadies me as I prepare to speak my truth for the second time tonight. Hi, Mom, I say calmly. I was just thanking the people who remembered my birthday. Delete it, now. Dad's voice in the background. They must be on speakerphone, too. This is completely inappropriate, Sarah. I catch Daniel's eye. He nods encouragement. No, I say, the single word feeling foreign and powerful in my mouth. I don't think I will. I sit perfectly still in Daniel's living room, my mother's voice filling the speaker of my phone. My hands tremble slightly against my thigh, but my voice remains steady, a small victory. I cling to like a life raft in choppy waters. What the hell are you doing, Sarah? People are seeing this. Mom's voice is pitched higher than normal, that special tone reserved for public embarrassments and social faux pas. Daniel sits beside me, close enough for support, but giving me space to fight my own battle. His parents have tactfully retreated to the kitchen, though I can see them through the doorway near enough to step in if needed, far enough to offer privacy. I chose this battlefield deliberately surrounded by witnesses who care about me, not isolated where I could be more easily manipulated. What am I doing? I repeat, surprised by the calm in my voice. I'm thanking the people who actually showed up for my birthday. Take that post down. Now. Dad's voice cuts in, his barely controlled anger vibrating through the speaker. He must have grabbed the phone from Mom. You have no idea how this could affect your future, Sarah. My phone buzzes with incoming texts. Jacob. Mom and Dad are furious. What were you thinking? Another one follows immediately. You're making this way bigger than it needs to be. What strikes me most is what they're not saying. Not one of them has said, "I'm sorry we forgot your birthday." Not one mention of how I might feel. Their concern centers entirely on appearance show. This makes them look to friends and extended family. I'm not taking it down, I say, the words falling from my lips before I can second guess myself. I posted the truth. Daniel's family made my birthday special when you chose to celebrate Jacob instead. Sarah Elizabeth Winters. Dad's voice drops dangerously low. There will be consequences if you continue this childish behavior. The silence stretches between us. Daniel reaches over, his hand covering mine, steadying the trembling. What consequences? I finally ask, my voice clearer than I expected. You've already shown me where I stand. We're coming over, Dad announces abruptly. This conversation isn't happening over the phone. I catch Daniel's eye. He nods slightly, squeezing my hand. That's fine, I say. I'm at Daniel's. His parents are here too. The long pause that follows tells me everything. They expected me to be alone, vulnerable, malleable. We can discuss this tomorrow. Mom interjects smoothly. When you're thinking clearly, sweetie. The endearment lands like a slap. How convenient that she remembers to use it now. No, I say firmly. If you want to talk, come now. Otherwise, we have nothing to discuss. 43 minutes later, they arrive. Mom's smile is brittle as she exchanges pleasantries with Daniel's parents in the entryway. Dad stands stiffly beside her, his eyes darting around the well-appointed home as if seeking tactical advantages. We'd like to speak with our daughter privately, Dad announces, not quite making it a question. Daniel's father, a man I've known less than a year, but who remembered my birthday without prompting steps slightly forward. Sarah is welcome to have privacy if she wants it, he says, but she's also welcome to have support here. Family matters should remain within the family. Dad counters, his jaw tightening. Sarah is like family to us, Daniel's father replies evenly. She's welcome to have support. Mom's face flushes. The script is slipping away from them, the one where they arrive, overwhelm me with authority, and leave with my compliance secured. I can see it in their eyes, the dawning realization that they've stepped onto unfamiliar terrain. Sarah, sweetheart, Mom tries again, her voice honeyed with forced affection. We just want to understand what's upset you so much. The question is so disingenuous, it almost makes me laugh. You really don't know? I ask quietly. You forgot my birthday to celebrate Jacob instead. That's not fair, Dad begins. You didn't forget, I interrupt, surprising myself. The dinner for Jacob was planned weeks ago. I checked the family calendar. You chose to exclude me on my birthday. We were going to celebrate with you this weekend. Mom insists, but her eyes slide away from mine. No, you weren't, I say, the certainty burning through me like a fever breaking. This is just what you always do. Jacob first, me as an afterthought, if at all. The room falls silent. In their faces, I see something I've never witnessed before, the uncomfortable recognition of a truth they can no longer deny, at least not to themselves. For the first time in my life, they see me, and I see them too clearly, finally, completely. Daniel's living room feels like a courtroom. The air is thick with tension, almost visible in the late afternoon light filtering through beige curtains. I sit with my spine straight against the firm cushions of the sofa, my hands resting in my lap still, not fidgeting. Across from me, Mom and Dad stand awkwardly by the fireplace mantel, refusing the seats offered by Daniel's parents before they discreetly stepped into the kitchen. Mom adjusts her pearl necklace, the one she wears to important client dinner sand, attempts a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Sarah, honey, this is all a misunderstanding. We were actually planning to surprise you this weekend. Dad stands with his feet slightly apart, hands clasped before him like he's addressing a difficult client. This social media tantrum needs to end now. You're damaging our family's reputation. My phone buzzes again on the coffee table between us. Jacob's texts are still coming through. I deliberately pick up the phone, turning the screen so they can all see his latest message. Tell Mom and Dad I'm heading to Ryan's place. Don't wait up. Some celebration, I say, my voice steadier than I expected. Mom's eyes immediately well with tears. Right on cue, the same performance I've seen at charity functions when she needs to appear moved by someone's generosity. After everything we've done for you, Sarah, the opportunities we've given you, the support, your grandmother's inheritance fund could be reconsidered. Dad cuts in, his voice cool and businesslike. Financial decisions require maturity and family loyalty. The words hang in the air like a revelation. Money. It's always been about money. Every birthday check, every tuition payment, every gift that came with invisible strings. We've always supported you more than Jacob. Mom insists, dabbing carefully at her eyes to avoid smudging her mascara. He just needed more attention because of his special qualities. A strange calm settles over me. Name one thing. I say, my voice quiet but clear. Name one accomplishment of mine that you celebrated properly. The silence stretches between us, punctuated only by the distant sound of dishes being deliberately washed in the kitchen, Daniel's parents giving us privacy while remaining close enough to intervene if needed. My high school graduation, you spent the ceremony whispering about Jacob's science fair project. I hold up one finger. My college awards banquet, you left early for his baseball game. Another finger. My first job offer, you asked if I'd considered waiting for something better while planning Jacob's graduation party a year in advance. A third finger. I unlock my phone, scrolling through my calendar and showing them. You didn't forget my birthday. You scheduled Jacob's scholarship dinner on the same day, just like you've scheduled something for him during every important day of my life. That's not forgetfulness. That's choice. I turn the phone toward them again, displaying a photo album I've kept. Empty chairs at my events, half-eaten celebration cakes, solo photos where family should be standing beside me. You're twisting everything! Mom's voice rises, the polite veneer cracking. These are isolated incidents that you're connecting to create a false narrative. Dad steps forward, his jaw tight. If you want to remain part of this family, you'll delete that social media post and stop this ridiculous performance. That's just it. I feel something break free inside me, not breaking down, but breaking through. I've never really been part of the family, have I? I've been the audience, the photographer, the cheerleader, never the celebrated. I reach into my bag and pull out a small, leather-bound journal. I started keeping track 3 years ago. Every forgotten milestone, every canceled plan, every celebration cut short because of Jacob. It's all here. Mom's eyes widen at the physical evidence of my pain, tangible proof that can't be dismissed as emotional exaggeration. I won't pretend anymore. I continue, my voice gaining strength. Either acknowledge how you've treated me, or leave me alone. Those are your choices now, not mine. Dad's face flushes with anger, the way it does when a business deal goes south. You'll regret this when you need us, Sarah. Don't come crying back when real life gets difficult. Sarah, Mom hisses, glancing toward the kitchen where Daniel's parents are barely pretending not to listen. People are watching your story online. What will everyone think? Daniel moves from his position near the doorway to sit beside me, not touching but close enough that I feel his steady presence. I hope they are watching, I say, meeting first her gaze, then Dad's. Maybe it will help someone else speak up. The shock on their faces is almost worth the years of pain the moment they realize they've truly lost control of the narrative. That the dutiful, invisible daughter they could count on to stay quiet has found her voice, and others are finally listening. Dad checks his watch, a nervous habit, when he's lost the upper hand. Mom's fingers twist around her pearls. For the first time in my life, they don't know what to say to me. For the first time, I don't rush to fill the silence with apologies. I simply wait, breathing in the unfamiliar sensation of standing in my truth while they scramble to rewrite it. But some stories can't be edited once they've been told, and mine finally belongs to me. The morning light streams through curtains. I chose myself bold teal patterns that would have horrified my mother's beige sensibilities. 1 month since my birthday, and my apartment finally feels like me. No more generic decorations chosen to avoid criticism. No more muting myself. I run my fingers over the beautiful leather journal from Daniel's parents, displayed prominently on my bookshelf alongside the artisan tea set his sister gave me. Simple gifts, thoughtfully chosen. The kind that say, I see you. My phone buzzes with a calendar reminder. I no longer flinch when it lights up. I filtered my contacts, removed the family group chat. The constant knot in my stomach has finally begun to unravel. Ready? Daniel calls from the kitchen where he's washing our breakfast dishes. Almost. I smoothed down the emerald blouse I bought last week, color I've always loved but rarely wore. Too bold, Mom would say. Too attention-seeking. I catch my reflection in the hallway mirror and barely recognize the woman staring back. Not just the clothes or the more confident posture, but something in my eyes. The anxious, approval-seeking girl from my birthday morning has begun to fade. The thing about emotional neglect, Dr. Lewis says during our third session, is that it's characterized by what didn't happen. I nod, fingers twisting in my lap. That's why I doubted myself for so long. There were no dramatic fights, no obvious abuse, just absence. Consistent, reliable absence wherever my needs were concerned. And how does naming that feel? She leans forward slightly, her eyes kind behind practical glasses. Like I'm not crazy. My voice catches. Like I've been trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces all my life. Later that week, I sit in a circle of strangers who quickly become anything but. Adult children of emotionally neglectful parents, the group is called. Their stories echo mine with unsettling familiarity. When my phone shows 3 missed calls from Mom after our group meeting, I delete the notifications without checking the voicemails. The guilt I expected doesn't come. At my desk that evening, I address Christmas cards, a task I've always handled for the entire family. This year, my list is shorter but more meaningful. Each name represents someone who's actually shown up for me. The stack for my parents and Jacob remains blank beside my pen. After a moment's consideration, I return them to their box. On my calendar, I've already marked next year's birthday not with expectations of others, but with plans for myself. Sunrise hike plus favorite bakery. I've written. A promise to celebrate regardless of who joins me. Your parents are telling everyone you abandoned the family after all they did for you. Aunt Meredith's text arrives on a Tuesday morning. I stare at it for a long moment before typing. They're entitled to their version of events. My thumb hovers over the send button before I add. I'm open to a relationship that includes mutual respect and honesty. 3 days later, Jacob's name appears on my screen for the first time since the confrontation. I didn't realize what they were doing to you. His message reads, I always thought you got the better deal because they left you alone while micromanaging me. I don't respond immediately. Healing isn't linear, and relationships can't be forced. But I save the message a small opening that might someday lead somewhere if he's willing to grow. From my parents, there's only deafening silence. No acknowledgement, no ownership, just the void I've always known, now honestly labeled. To the family we choose, I raise my glass, looking around my dining table at faces illuminated by candlelight. And the strength to choose ourselves first. Daniel's mother reaches over to squeeze my hand. His father beams from across the table. My college roommate clinks her glass against mine. The warmth in this room stands in stark contrast to that solitary birthday morning, just months ago. My eyes drift briefly to the empty chair I've left at the corner of the table. Not with desperate hope, but with peaceful acknowledgement that doors can remain unlocked without expecting anyone to walk through them. After dessert, I excuse myself briefly and slip into my office. The blog draft is nearly complete. Finding home. Healing from family estrangement. Comments have poured in from early readers, people who recognize their stories in mine. I glance at the letter I've written but haven't sent. I'm still here if you ever want to truly know me, it concludes. Maybe someday they'll be ready to read it. Maybe they won't. For now, I have this moment, this peace, this chosen family that loves without conditions or competition. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is rewrite your own story. I rock my son in the quiet sanctuary of his nursery, humming a lullaby my father once sang to me. Leo's tiny fist curls around my finger, his eyes fluttering closed as he drifts towards sleep. 3 weeks old, and already the center of my universe. The afternoon sun filters through pale blue curtains, casting gentle shadows across the oak rocking chair Eric refinished before Leo's birth. The jarring ring of my phone shatters our peaceful bubble. An unfamiliar Georgia area code flashes across the screen. Hello? I keep my voice low, Leo's warm weight nestled against my chest. Mrs. Blake? This is Vanessa Morales with the Georgia Family Services Agency. I'm calling about the custody release paperwork for your infant son. My body goes cold, as if someone's thrown open a window to January air. Excuse me? What paperwork? The temporary guardianship filing. We need to verify a few inconsistencies before proceeding with the adoption petition. The words hang in the air, disconnected from reality. Adoption petition. My arms tighten instinctively around Leo. The room tilts slightly. There must be some mistake. My son isn't up for adoption. My voice sounds far away, hollow. According to our records, your mother filed for temporary guardianship last week, claiming you had consented to placement proceedings. The floor seems to drop away beneath me. My mother. Patricia. The woman who kissed my forehead in the hospital, who held Leo and whispered how perfect he was. That's impossible. I never... The words stick in my throat as Eric appears in the doorway, his smile fading instantly when he sees my face. Mrs. Blake, we grew concerned when reviewing the documentation. Some signatures didn't align, and the timeline seemed rushed. Standard protocol requires direct confirmation with birth parents. Eric crosses the room in 3 strides, dropping to one knee beside us. His hand covers mine where it cradles Leo's head. What is it? He mouths. I can't speak. Can barely breathe. Someone has applied to adopt our son, I finally whisper, the words burning my throat. Eric's face drains of color. The woman continues, her professional tone never wavering. The paperwork claims both parents are mentally unfit to care for the infant. There are psychological evaluations attached that we found. Concerning. A sharp pain spirals through my chest. Leo stirs against me, sensing the sudden tension in my body. Who? Eric demands, reaching for the phone. I release it willingly, my fingers suddenly numb. His warm palm against mine grounds me as the room spins. This is Eric Blake. Who exactly submitted this paperwork? His voice is tight, controlled rage vibrating beneath each word. I watch his expression darken as he listens, jaw muscle twitching. When he speaks again, his voice has dropped dangerously low. My mother-in-law has no legal right to our child. Whatever documents you have were submitted fraudulently. A pause. Yes, that's correct. We'll cooperate fully with your investigation. As Eric handles the call, my mind reels backward 4 months, searching for warnings I missed. The memory rises with perfect clarity. My mother's living room, late February, dust motes floating in afternoon sun. The antique coffee table between us, cluttered with bridal magazines for my sister's upcoming wedding. I'm pregnant, I announced, unable to contain my smile any longer. Due in August. I'd rehearsed this moment for weeks. Imagined her joyful tears, her arms around me. Instead, her smile tightened into something calculated, her eyes cooling as they assessed me. Oh, she said simply. Then, have you told anyone else yet? I shifted uncomfortably on her floral sofa. Just Eric's parents. We wanted our families to know first. Her fingers drummed against her teacup. It might be better to keep this quiet for now. I blinked, confused. What do you mean? This baby. She set her cup down carefully. It's going to take attention away from Brielle's wedding. My hand moved instinctively to cover my barely showing stomach. The protective gesture wasn't lost on her. People love babies, Caroline, she continued, her voice gentle but firm. They forget the bride. Eric's voice pulls me back to the present as he ends the call. They're investigating. The agency got suspicious when dates didn't align. I stare down at Leo, his rosebud mouth slightly open in sleep, oblivious to the storm surrounding him. A fierce, primal surge of protection floods my veins. She tried to give away our son. The words feel foreign on my tongue. Impossible. Eric's arm encircles us both. She filed paperwork claiming we're mentally unfit parents, used forged signatures. Why would she? But I can't finish the question. Can't make sense of it. That night, long after Eric falls into troubled sleep, I sit in the nursery rocking chair, watching Leo's chest rise and fall in his crib. The moonlight catches on the silver picture frame on his dresser, me father on his last fishing trip, smiling despite the cancer that would take him months later. What else has she done that I don't know about? I whisper into the darkness. The question hangs unanswered in the quiet room, alongside one even more disturbing. What kind of grandmother tries to give away her own grandchild? The dining room table has become a war room. Papers spread across the polished oak surface Eric refinished last summer, corners overlapping like fallen autumn leaves. I trace my finger over what's supposed to be my signature on the custody release form. My stomach twists. This isn't even close to my handwriting. The loops are too round, the T in Thompson crossed with a flourish I never use. She didn't even try to make it convincing. Eric stands behind me, hand on my shoulder. Look at this. He slides a document labeled Psychological Evaluation in front of me. Severe emotional instability exacerbated by postpartum hormonal fluctuations. His voice drops. Recommended immediate intervention to ensure infant safety. My fingers curl into fists. In the nursery, Leo sleeps peacefully in his crib, monitor glowing on the side table. The tightness in my chest makes it hard to breathe. How could she do this? I whisper. My own mother. Eric places another paper before me, printed emails between Patricia and Sunshine Family Adoptions, dating back 3 months. Before Leo was even born. She's been planning this since your second trimester, he says quietly. The phone rings, shattering the heavy silence. Brielle's name flashes on the screen. I hesitate, then answer on speaker. What the hell do you think you're doing? My sister's voice fills the room, sharp as glass. Mom's having a complete breakdown, she called me, sobbing. Do you know what she did, Brielle? I keep my voice steady. Did you know she forged documents to give away my son? A beat of silence, then. Maybe she was trying to help you. You're always so overwhelmed, Caroline. Every time I call, you sound exhausted. The room tilts slightly. You knew. The realization slams into me like a physical blow. You knew what she was planning. I didn't. She stops. Look, Mom was just concerned. You're not exactly mother material. You work constantly. You've been moody since Dad died. Eric takes the phone. Brielle, your mother committed fraud. She forged medical and legal documents. This isn't a family disagreement. Don't call again unless it's to apologize. He ends the call. My fingers tremble as I open the family photo album on my lap. The evidence was always there. Every Christmas, birthday, graduation, Brielle centered, beaming. Me at the edges, sometimes partially cropped out. Last year's Christmas card arrived without me in it at all. Just Patricia and bride-to-be Brielle in elegant script. I never wanted to see the pattern. A knock at the door pulls me from the album. Our neighbor Martha stands on the porch, retired family court judge and weekly bridge partner to my mother-in-law. She studies the documents with reading glasses perched on her nose, face growing stormier with each page. This is criminal forgery, dear. Martha's voice carries the quiet authority of her 30 years on the bench. Not just family drama. These falsified psychological evaluations alone. She removes her glasses. You need to contact the district attorney. An hour later, Eric's parents arrive unannounced, arms loaded with casserole dishes and determined expressions. His mother takes over the kitchen while his father rocks Leo, humming the same Johnny Cash songs he sang to Eric as a baby. Use our phone, his father says, nodding toward their cell on the counter, in case she's monitoring your calls. The lawyer speaks in careful, measured terms. We'll need documentation of everything. Financial records, communications, visitors who can corroborate your mental state before and after birth. My phone buzzes with voicemails from Patricia. I play them on speaker. Caroline, sweetheart, this is all a misunderstanding. Please call me back. I was only trying to help. After everything I've done for you. Eric disappears into our home office, returning with a thick folder. His engineering precision shows in the neatly labeled tabs. Financial records, he says, opening to the first section. Every payment you've made to your mother since your father died. $1,200 monthly for 5 years. I stare at the total. $72,000. Money we could have used for a house down payment, for Leo's college fund. There's more. He flips to another tab. Your mother's been making payments to Golden Oaks Resort. $35,000 for Riel's wedding venue. The room goes silent. My mother-in-law stops stirring whatever's on the stove. Martha sets down her teacup with a sharp clink. She was trying to give away my child to pay for Brielle's wedding. The words hang in the air. Impossible, yet undeniable. Later that night, after everyone leaves and Eric falls into restless sleep, I find myself in my father's study, the room I've kept exactly as he left it. His desk calendar still open to the month he died. His reading glasses folded beside his favorite pen. In the bottom drawer, beneath fishing magazines and warranty cards, I find his last letter. The paper has yellowed slightly at the edges, his handwriting growing unsteady near the end. Promise me you'll keep the family together, Caroline. Your mother will need you. Tears fall onto his handwriting, smudging the ink. I trace my fingers over the words, feeling the indentations his pen made in the paper. For 5 years, I've honored that promise. Sent money I couldn't spare. Endured criticism and dismissal. Invited them to holidays despite the tension. I'd have kept that promise forever. But not at the cost of my son. In the quiet darkness, I open my laptop. The screen illuminates my face as I create a new spreadsheet. Meticulously, I document every cent given to Patricia since my father's death. Every text message pressuring me for more. Every false claim made about my mental health. Eric appears in the doorway, hair rumpled from sleep. Are you sure you want to do this? He asks gently. I look up at him, something hardening inside me. Something that feels like clarity. I made a promise to my father, I say, watching the numbers populate the spreadsheet. But I have a more important promise to my son. The doorbell rings, sharp and insistent. I freeze at the kitchen counter, Leo's bottle halfway to the warming bowl. Through the front window, I spot my mother's silver sedan parked at the curb. My stomach clenches. I'll get it, Eric says, squeezing my shoulder as he passes. Leo fusses in his bouncer, tiny hands flailing. I lift him, pressing his warm body against my shoulder. 3 weeks of sleepless nights have honed my instincts. I know when to retreat. Eric's voice carries from the entryway. This isn't a good time, Patricia. I need to speak with my daughter. Her voice breaks on the word daughter. The performance has begun. I step into the hallway, Leo secure in my arms. Patricia stands on our threshold, her mascara artfully smudged, tissue clutched in manicured fingers. The perfect picture of maternal distress. Caroline, please. Tears stream down her face. I was only trying to help. You seem so overwhelmed with the baby. Behind her, Mrs. Kaplan from across the street slows her dog walk to a crawl, ears practically swiveling in our direction. Help? The word tastes bitter on my tongue. By trying to give my son away? That's not your twisting everything. Her voice rises, calculated to carry. After everything I've done for you. I shift Leo to my hip, his solid weight anchoring me. Everything you've done to me, you mean? Her eyes narrow, tears mysteriously paused. Your father would be ashamed. The words slice, finding their target with precision honed by years of practice. But something unexpected happens, they glance off, leaving only a faint sting where once they would have pierced deep. My father taught me to protect my family, I say, voice steady. That's exactly what I'm doing. Eric steps forward, sliding a cream envelope from his back pocket. This is from our lawyer. You're being served, Patricia. She recoils as if slapped, neighbors forgotten. The mask slips, revealing something cold beneath. She snatches the envelope, stalking back to her car without another word. I watch her drive away, Leo's soft breath against my neck. I'm still standing. Detective Morgan's office smells of coffee and printer toner. Files stacked neatly on her desk, my documents now among them. "This is thorough," she says, flipping through my binder. "Most people don't keep records like this." I bounce Leo gently on my knee. "I'm an accountant." She smiles, the first crack in her professional veneer. "That explains it." I'd labeled everything. Every check to Patricia, every text message, every forged document from the adoption agency. Dates, times, amounts, evidence. "Walk me through the timeline once more," she says, pen poised. I recount each event methodically. My pregnancy announcement, Patricia's reaction, the money transfers, the agency's call. With each point, Detective Morgan's eyebrows rise slightly higher. "You mentioned a recording?" she asks. I nod, reaching for my phone. Patricia's voice fills the small office. "I only wanted what was best for everyone." My recorded response, "For everyone or for Brielle?" A pause then. "Your sister deserves her special day. You've already had yours." Detective Morgan stops the recording. "And when was this?" "Last Tuesday." She called after receiving the letter. She makes a note, then meets my eyes. "Mrs. Blake, we don't often see forgery cases with this level of documentation. The DA will be interested." I stroke Leo's downy head. "What happens next?" "We built the case. Criminal charges are likely." She hesitates. "Family cases can be messy. Are you prepared for that?" For the first time, I smile. "I've been cleaning up my mother's messes my whole life, detective. I'm ready to stop." The Sunday roast sits untouched on Eric's parents' dining table. Louise and Henry Blake exchange worried glances as the doorbell shatters our tense silence. "I'll get it," Henry says, napkin dropping beside his plate. Eric's hand covers mine beneath the table as voices carry from the entry. Brielle's high-pitched demands cut through Henry's deeper tones. "It's a family matter," she insists, heels clicking on hardwood. She appears in the doorway, designer purse clutched like a shield. Her eyes narrow at the domestic scene, Leo in his portable seat, Sunday dinner interrupted. "What are you doing?" she demands, ignoring Eric's parents. "Filing charges, are you insane?" I set down my fork. "Hello to you too, Brielle. This is destroying our family over a misunderstanding." Louise rises, moving protectively toward Leo. "Perhaps we should take this conversation elsewhere." "No," my voice surprises calm, certain. "Say what you came to say, Brielle." My sister's perfect makeup can't hide the blotches rising on her neck. "Mom called me crying. They're saying she could face jail time. For what? Trying to help when you were obviously in over your head? Help by giving my son away without my knowledge?" "You don't understand." Brielle's voice rises. "Mom was going to help me pay for my wedding with that money." The silence that follows rings in my ears. Eric stiffens beside me. Louise gasps softly. Henry rises slowly from his chair. 6'2" of quiet dignity. "You were going to sell your nephew for a party?" Brielle falters, looking between us for allies and finding none. "That's not. You're twisting everything. The adoption agency pays expenses. It's perfectly legal." "Not when it's fraud," I say, standing. "You've always been jealous of me," Brielle hisses. "Now you're punishing Mom because you can't stand that my wedding will be bigger than yours was." The accusation hangs in the air. So absurd I almost laugh. Instead, I walk calmly to the door and hold it open. "My son is not a transaction, Brielle. Get out." "You can't." "She can," Eric says, joining me. "It's our home too." Brielle's face contorts. "Mom was right about you. You'll regret this." The door closes on her threat. I lean against it, legs suddenly weak. Louise wraps her arms around me. "You did right, Caroline. That kind of poison doesn't belong near your baby. Henry nods, one hand on Eric's shoulder. Family stands together. You three are not alone in this. I look around at their faces, me chosen family, and feel something settle in my chest. For the first time since that phone call 3 weeks ago, I stand straight-backed, certain. They wanted to take my son. Instead, they've given me my spine. I sign my name on the civil lawsuit with steady hands, the pen scratching against official paper. Exactly $35,000. Not a penny more, not a penny less. The precise sum I've given Patricia over 5 years since Dad died. You sure about this? Asks Marla, my lawyer, her gray-streaked bob swinging as she reviews the document. We could ask for punitive damages. This is enough. I cap the pen, feeling lighter than I have in weeks. I don't want her money. I want her to understand that actions have consequences. Marla's eyes crinkle at the corners. Most clients want blood. You just want accountability. Blood's messier, I say, watching as she slides the papers into a folder. And I've got enough laundry with a newborn. That afternoon, my phone dings with 4 text messages from my mother's friends. Word travels fast in Winston-Salem. The documents are public record now. The story of a grandmother trying to give away her grandson spreading like kudzu through church groups and neighborhood associations. Martha Harrington called. Eric says when he gets home, loosening his tie. Said she's praying for all of us, but especially for your mother. Thought you should know people are choosing sides. What did you tell her? That it's a private family matter being handled appropriately. He smiles, quoting the exact phrasing we practiced. Then I asked how her grandson's baseball season was going. Changed the subject real quick. I'm rocking Leo when my phone buzzes with Brielle's name. I don't answer, but moments later my social media notifications explode. She's posted a tearful selfie with a caption claiming I'm jealous of her wedding and punishing Mom for loving her. 3 mutual friends text screenshots, asking if I'm okay. She doesn't even mention Leo, I murmur to my sleeping son. Not once. 2 days later, Pastor Jim calls. Caroline, your mother made quite a confession at prayer group last night. About your vindictiveness, she's hurting. I watch Leo's tiny chest rise and fall. Did she confess to forging my signature? To trying to give away my child? The silence stretches across the line. I thought not, I say quietly. The wedding invitations arrive at my in-laws' house. We've already changed our address with the post office. My mother-in-law brings it over, face pinched with concern. Look at this, she says, pointing to the photo montage on the back. There's Patricia holding a newborn Leo, her face beaming with grandmotherly pride. I study the image. That was taken the day after he was born, before she tried to give him away. The calm in my voice surprises even me. Later that week, I'm at my desk when movement catches my eye. Through the window, I spot Brielle's red Audi pulling into our driveway. I text Eric quickly. She's here. His reply comes instantly. Don't open the door. Lawyer said no direct contact. The doorbell rings 3 times, then aggressive knocking follows. Caroline, I know you're in there. You need to call off the dogs. You're destroying our family. I stand just inside the door, Leo against my shoulder, bouncing him gently as he starts to fuss from the noise. This is ridiculous, her voice grows shriller. Mom made a mistake. People make mistakes. Only after her car roars away do I realize my hands aren't shaking anymore. The cease and desist letter goes out the next day. Everything shifts the following week when Eric gets a call from an unknown number. Mrs. Parker, he mouths, covering the receiver. Brielle's future mother-in-law. I watch his face as he listens. Yes. No, we didn't know that. I understand your concern. No, we wouldn't expect you to. When he hangs up, his expression is a mix of vindication and sadness. News about the adoption fraud reached the Parkers. They're reconsidering their son's relationship with Brielle. That same day, the wedding venue calls me directly, asking about Patricia's bounce check. The deposit she promised Brielle and me money never materialized. At the grocery store, Patricia's neighbor Betty gives me a quick hug in the produce section. "We missed your mother at garden club yesterday," she says softly. No one said anything, but her eyes say what her words don't. The community is stepping back. The judge sets the criminal court date, 1 week before Brielle's wedding. My phone rings that night while I'm bathing Leo. Eric answers, his expression darkening as he listens. "It's Brielle," he says, covering the mouthpiece, "screaming that you have to drop the charges, says you're ruining everything." "Ask her which everything she means," I reply, lifting Leo from the water. "Her wedding or her mother's attempt to steal our child?" Within days, news filters through mutual connections. Patricia's boy of 3 years has moved out. Brielle has postponed the wedding due to family circumstances. The caterer, the photographer, the floristall have been notified of scaled-back plans. They're experiencing real consequences for the first time. Eric observes one night as we eat dinner on the patio, Leo asleep in his bassinet beside us. The certified letter arrives the following Monday. A carefully worded apology from Patricia, delivered by her lawyer. The settlement offer includes full repayment plus emotional damages. Attached is a text from Brielle. "Mom made a mistake. Haven't you ever made mistakes?" The final line of Patricia's letter promises therapy in exchange for reduced charges. Pastor Jim visits that afternoon, hands clasped earnestly before him. "Forgiveness is divine, Caroline." After he leaves, I rock Leo in the quiet nursery. The last rays of sunset catch on Dad's photograph. His eyes so like mine seem to watch over us. A strange sense of clarity washes through me as Leo's weight settles against my chest. Sometimes the hardest promises to keep are the ones we make to ourselves, I whisper against his downy head. I reach for my phone and dial my lawyer's number, my decision made. Patricia's lawyer's office smells like lemon polish and old leather. I sit straight-backed in an uncomfortable chair, hands folded over the sleek portfolio in my lap while Eric maintains a steady presence beside me. Across the glossy mahogany table, my mother dabs at her eyes with a tissue. She looks smaller somehow, frailer than I remember a performance I've seen her perfect over decades. "Caroline, sweetheart," Patricia murmurs, clutching a silver-framed photo of Leo. "I just want us to be a family again." Brielle sits beside her, hair swept into an elegant chignon that matches her practiced expression of concern. The engagement ring on her left hand catches the light every time she gestures. "We all want healing," my sister recites, as if reading from an invisible teleprompter. "Mom made a terrible mistake, but hasn't she suffered enough?" Patricia's lawyer, a silver-haired man with sympathetic eyes and an expensive suit, slides a document across the polished surface. "These settlement papers are straightforward," he explains. "Mrs. Blake will make financial restitution, and in exchange, Caroline will drop all criminal charges." He adjusts his glasses. "Everyone can move forward. Consider what's at stake." Brielle's fiancé chimes in, his arm draped possessively across her shoulders. "This could all go away today." Patricia leans forward, hands trembling. "I was only trying to help. A grandmother's love can be misguided sometimes." The room falls silent. 5 pairs of eyes fix on me, waiting, expectant. The weight of their stares presses against my skin. I draw a slow breath, feeling the steady rhythm of my heart. "I've listened to everything you've said." My voice sounds different in this room, clearer, steadier than I expected. I place my portfolio on the table and remove 3 folders, arranging them in a neat row. This first folder contains every financial transaction between us for the past 5 years, I explain, opening it to reveal color-coded spreadsheets. $35,000 total. Patricia's lawyer leans forward slightly. The second folder holds copies of the adoption papers with my forged signature. I touch the edge of the manila folder without opening it. The Georgia Family Services Forensic Document Examiner's report is attached. My mother's gaze drops to her hands. The third folder, I continue opening it carefully, contains your messages to the adoption agency. I remove a single printed email and read aloud. The parents are unstable and don't want the child. That's what you wrote about us, Mom. Patricia's mouth tightens into a thin line. I pull out my phone and play a recorded conversation. Patricia's voice fills the room. Do you know how much money I've spent on Brielle's wedding? Caroline owes me this. Eric's hand finds mine under the table. I don't need a courtroom to know what happened. I close the third folder. But I will take this to court if necessary. I slide the settlement papers back across the table. These are my terms. Full repayment of every dollar I've given you. Mandatory therapy documented by monthly reports. And you accept criminal responsibility with no jail time, just probation. Patricia's face flushes. After everything I've done for you. I have Brielle's text message to you. Do whatever you need to just make sure my wedding happens. I tap the screen of my phone. And your browser history showing searches for how to claim grandparent rights dating back to my second trimester. The mask of maternal concern slips from Patricia's face, replaced by something harder, colder, something I've glimpsed all my life but never fully acknowledged. You've always been selfish, Brielle snaps, mask falling away just as quickly. Mom was right about you. Patricia's lawyer raises a hand to quiet my sister. He leans toward my mother, murmuring something I can't hear. After a moment, Patricia nods stiffly. I believe Mrs. Blake would be amenable to your terms, he says, turning to me. Shall we revise the agreement? 30 minutes later, Patricia signs the new settlement with a trembling hand. She doesn't look at me. I gather my folders and stand, Eric a solid presence at my side. Brielle follows us into the hallway. Caroline, wait, you can't just... I don't turn back. 2 weeks later, I stand on the courthouse steps, blinking in the bright spring sunshine. The judge's words still ring in my ears. The court accepts the plea agreement. No jail time for Patricia, but restitution in full. Mandatory psychological treatment, and most importantly, a 2-year no-contact order protecting Leo, Eric, and me. Eric waits at the bottom of the steps, Leo nestled against his chest in a baby carrier. My husband's smile, that gentle curve of lips I fell in love with years ago, breaks through the cloud that's hung over us for months. It's finally over, I whisper, descending the steps toward my family. The moving boxes fill our living room, labeled in my neat handwriting. Kitchen. Books. Linens. The realtor's sign planted in our front yard catches the afternoon light, sold gleams in bold red letters across it. Eric carries another box out to the truck while I wrap my father's fishing photo in bubble wrap. I pause, tracing the glass over his smiling face with my fingertip. Behind me in the reflection, I see myself, eyes clearer now, shoulders no longer hunched with the weight of impossible promises. I kept my promise as long as I could, I whisper to his image. I hope you understand. Leo babbles from his playpen, reaching pudgy hands toward me. I tuck the wrapped frame carefully into a box marked memories and go to lift my son into my arms. Some promises must be broken to keep the ones that truly matter. I plant the last rosebush in our garden, patting the soil firm around its tender roots. The mid-morning sun warms my back as I rock back on my heels, surveying the neat rows of perennials that edge our new home. Plants that will return year after year. Plants with staying power. Mama, Leo's voice carries through the open window. I turn to see him wobbling across our sun-drenched living room, arms outstretched toward Eric, who kneels 6 feet away with his phone raised. I'm getting it. Keep going, buddy, Eric calls, his voice thick with pride. I scramble to my feet, brushing dirt from my jeans as I hurry inside. Leo takes 3 more determined steps before tumbling into his father's waiting arms. My heart swells at their matching grins. Did you see that? Eric asks, his eyes bright with wonder. Every magnificent step, I say, throat tightening. These are the moments that make our fresh start worthwhile, 60 miles and a world away from Patricia's manipulation. The new phone in my pocket buzzes. Unknown number. My thumb hovers over decline, a reflex developed since changing our contact information 3 months ago. but something makes me answer. Mrs. Blake? This is Dr. Hamilton's office. The voice is professional, clipped. We're calling to inform you that Patricia Blake has completed her court-mandated therapy program. My fingers don't tremble against the phone. My pulse doesn't race. Progress. I'm forwarding the formal assessment letter, the voice continues. Dr. Hamilton has noted significant progress in recognizing manipulative behaviors and boundary violations. Thank you for letting me know, I reply, my voice steady. After disconnecting, I find Eric watching me, Leo balanced on his hip. Patricia completed therapy, I explain, setting my phone face down on the counter. Are you going to respond? He keeps his tone neutral, respecting whatever choice I make. I look out at the garden I've just planted, the roots taking hold in new soil. Not yet, I say after a thoughtful pause. Maybe someday. And what did you learn from Caroline's experience? I ask the circle of women seated in the community center's back room. My therapy group for family estrangement has doubled in size since last month. A silver-haired grandmother dabs at her eyes. That I'm not alone. That sometimes setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's necessary. I nod, remembering my own therapy sessions, the breakthrough moment when I realized that honoring my father's memory didn't require sacrificing my son's security. Later that evening, we celebrate Leo's second birthday. No extravagant party, just true friends around our backyard picnic table. Eric's parents bring a cake like a dump truck. Martha, our former neighbor who first recognized Patricia's actions as criminal, slips Leo a savings bond for college. Another deposit for the account that Patricia will never access. I snap a photo of the three of us, Eric, Leo, and me framed against the sunset. Our genuine smiles need no prompting. The grocery store fluorescent lights wash over Brielle's ex-fiancé as we stand awkwardly between produce and dairy. His cart half, mine nearly empty. The wedding's off. Permanently, he volunteers studying the floor tiles. Thought you should know. 6 months ago, this news would have stirred something vindication, perhaps, or at least curiosity. Now I feel only a calm indifference. I hope she finds what she's looking for, I say and mean it. I wheel my cart away, suddenly aware of the weight that's lifted from my shoulders. Not forgiveness, exactly. Liberation. To the family we choose, I raise my glass at Thanksgiving dinner, my voice carrying across Eric's parents' extended table. Faces beam back at mechanics who covered my workload during court dates, neighbors who left casseroles on our porch, even Vanessa Morales from the Georgia Family Services Agency, who spotted the inconsistencies in Patricia's paperwork. Blood ties these people together no more than ink binds words to paper. Yet here they sit, passing dishes and sharing laughter, creating something stronger than obligation. Home. More family coming tomorrow? Leo asks drowsily as I finish reading from the children's book. I've written a gentle story about a fox family that grows not through birth but through love. I smooth his hair back from his forehead. Yes, sweet boy. The kind of family that helps us grow stronger. After he falls asleep, I stand by his window, watching stars appear in the darkening sky. On Eric's wrist, my father's watch keeps time, a legacy preserved, transformed. I kept my promise to my father for as long as I could. But when I became a mother, I learned something new. My first promise now belongs to my son,